Hey everybody, Jabman025 here. Today I'm taking a look at my 103rd Master Grade, the Gundam AGE-1 Titus. This is from the first generation of Mobile Suit Gundam Age. When this first came out, I decided to pass on it and decided to wait for a better deal, and recently a better deal came around. Got it for a decent price, so I decided to pick it up. First things first, for those of you who've built the Gundam AGE-1, the torso, the head, identical. No changes at all. Exact same thing. I won't go too heavily into this. Still get the silver sticker behind the eyes. Still got to paint those eyes along with the camera. If you want to see more, look at the Gundam Age review. But new is the arms, the waist, and the legs. First up, the arms. They're huge, obviously. It's a monster hand, some monster wrists, gigantic shoulders. Kind of small arms, though. But lots of posability out of the elbows, nice big bend out of the wrist. The hands are interchangeable hands, which I kind of would have liked to see them use some 2.0 hands here, or just some big hands like they used on Suzabi, but oh well. But you still get a movable thumb, which I guess is one thing. But overall, pretty good. We do have one issue, though, and that's this connection here into the upper arm. This comes loose a lot, and when you're moving things in and out, which you will be doing on this arm, it can come loose. The shoulder is a little awkward to pose with. It will move a little bit out, and it will rotate 360, but I was kind of disappointed in the shoulders. I was expecting a little more. Granted, they are really gigantic shoulders, but they do make the posing a little hampered. Like I said, interchangeable fingers. You get a fist, and you get a straight-out hand, or straight-out fingers, rather. Why you would use that hand, I have no clue. But it's there if you want it. Also on the shoulder, you have this cap here that comes out that will be used for the beam effect parts later. I'll show you. And you can also remove this section of the arm here. That's to add another beam effect part, which I'll show you later. This is where that upper connection will come loose a lot when you're removing that. The torso on this guy looks very similar to the AGE-1, but it is different. You get different armor. The back is red, obviously. The sides are a lot smaller, and the front skirt armor is barely there at all. The feet on this guy, utterly gigantic feet. This is a theme that will be repeated. Giant feet on this, big old waffle stompers, if you prefer. Not a lot of movement out of the foot. You get a tiny little movement out of the back of this foot, and that's about it. The armor around the ankles kind of loose and wonky, but it's nothing terrible. Add on the rest of the legs. Again, big old giant legs, some thunder thighs on this guy. Interesting knee connection. Since the lack of skirt armor, it really doesn't hamper in any way. You can't get to a full splits, but you can still get pretty far out there. And you can see it's still pretty well balanced. Bend on the knee, huge bend. And balance really isn't an issue on this guy. It takes some really crazy action to knock this guy over. Now you get them all built up, one piece. Pretty big solid kit. See, I switched out the hands to fist hands. That's probably what you're going to be using most of. Maybe you'll use the open style every once in a while, and I can't imagine why you would use the straight hand style, but whatever. And you can see you can get down the needle pose. They kind of exaggerate what you can do in the manual, but granted, it can still do a lot of neat things. One issue you will run into if you want to use the running knee or the high knee, yeah, you kind of need an action base because that kind of looks silly. It can be done, but it doesn't really look all that good. So if you want to do much with the knee action or flying knee, bust out the action base. But I'm going to keep him firmly mounted on the ground in my case. Now decals, they're subtle, but they are there. You see the decals around the beam effect part, show where the beam effects are going to go. The age symbol, you get a lot of repeats from the Gundam AGE-1. A lot of little dry transfers on this thing, which can be a pain in the butt. Some are fairly big, like on the shoulders and on the wrists, but you have these tiny, tiny little ones here on the legs and on the knees. That little white tick marks, those are dry transfers, and those can be a bit of a pain. If you don't want to do the decals on this kit, I wouldn't terribly blame you. It doesn't look particularly much better with decals, but to each his own. Now, beam effect parts. First, you got these beam spikes and you got the beam rings. They give this little tree to keep the spikes on, but that's just optional. Attaching the ring in, this can be kind of tricky. Once you have the connection in, you're fine, but getting it connected in can be a little tricky sometimes because you'll knock some things loose, like I said with that joint in the arm. Once you got it in, though, it's never coming off. That's not a problem. And it really doesn't hamper things as much as I thought they would. You can do some neat poses, move the arm around, getting ready to do a clothesline. The shoulders, like I mentioned before, you can bring out that section on the shoulder, make it look like a running shoulder tackle. The spikes come out. And it's going to go all NFL linebacker on you and run right into you. Ruin your day. And you get some nice poses with that. The knees, again, 3 spikes go into the knee. Like I said, if you want to do a whole lot with this, you kind of need an action base. You can do some neat stuff because you can, like I said, you can move the knee here and you get a little bit of movement, but there's only so much you can do with that. If you're just going to do the knee, you probably want an action base. You will kind of end up doing the splits over time, but as long as you pose them right, that's not going to happen. And if you unleash the limiters, or unrestrict the limiters rather, like Flit did in the last episode of Season 1, you can fire everything, which of course trashes the AGE-1 Titus armor, but hey, whatever. And for a few seconds, you're a frigging Goliath. And you can use all the beam effect parts at once. Final thoughts on this kit. I'm giving this kit a thumbs up. This is a good kit for the price. This is fairly cheap as master grades go, and this is kind of a case if you get what you pay for. I was kind of expecting a little bit more detail in this kit. I was kind of expecting a little bit more posability for a close-range combat suit that is essentially a fighter. But, it's okay. I was kind of hoping for more, didn't get it. I got it on sale. I can't complain too much. If you can catch it at a good price, pick it up. But this is a good kit, but it's nothing terribly great to write home about. So, take that for what it's worth. But good kit, thumbs up. Well, gang, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you found it informative. If you have any questions, please ask them. I will answer them as best as I can. Please stay tuned for more. Always got more reviews coming. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, and one more thing. Well, this is awkward.